Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati. My name is Reverend Connie Simon and we are glad you're here. Our urban community welcomes all with love, supports learning and spiritual growth, serves our wider community, and works for justice, equity, and inclusion. At the end of our service, during the closing credits, so to speak, there will be announcements of upcoming events. If you'd like more details about any of those events or our community or any of our programs, please contact us at member-care@firstuu.com. We begin our worship, as we do every Sunday, by lighting our chalice, the chosen symbol of our faith. We do so this morning with a chalice lighting for When Things Aren't Okay by Molly Brewer. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you that everything is okay right now. That there is no reason to be angry, that you must be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, and so I won't tell them to you. But now our chalice is lit. And so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker. There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love. Please join us now in singing our vision song. The words will appear on the screen.
Sometimes a Wall by Diane White, illustrated by Barreau. So many kinds of walls to see. Chalk wall, spill wall, hill wall, we wall, shout wall, me wall, out wall. Sometimes a wall can come between. Gather, build, walls rise. Sometimes a person can be mean. Mischief, taunts, whispered lies. So many things we choose to do. Stare, sign. Unfair. Mine. Different sides and points of view. Play? No. Stay? Go. So many feelings a wall can bring. Alone, apart, regret. New start? A wall can lead to anything. Watch, wave, hopeful, brave. Mend. Friends. Sometimes, when we are hurt or scared, we put up imaginary walls all around us or the people we love. We do this because we hope those walls will shield us from more hurt, but it doesn't really work. Because those imaginary walls just isolate us from others. And isolation hurts. I wonder, over the past 18 months, have you built imaginary walls around yourself or the people you love? Have those walls made you feel isolated? Are you hurting? Or are you angry? Your imaginary walls were just starting to come down, but now, as COVID cases rise due to the Delta variant, so too do your imaginary walls, and it is not fair. Beloveds, hear me from inside your tall towers. You are not alone. And whenever you are ready for a new start, your friends at First Church are right outside your walls, waving, watching, mending, hoping, knowing. Sometimes a wall can lead to anything.
When we acknowledge the joys and the sorrows that make up the cycles of life. We do that by dropping stones in waters and by naming our feelings. Each stone represents one of those joys or those sorrows that have happened to us since last we were together. The water is water that we blessed the last time we were together in this sanctuary as a whole. Water that we blessed 3 years ago and kept and added more to and added more to, so that it has multiple church years of love and hope and prayer and fun and laughter in it. It contains all the things that we bring to community. So by dropping our joy or our sorrow in the waters, in these collective waters that belong to all of us, it can amplify our joy and soothe our sorrow because it represents the love of community. This morning we have a wonderful joy to celebrate, and that's these beautiful flowers before us. Sally Behringer brought these for us so that we might enjoy a glimpse of something beautiful on a summer's day. We drop a stone for this joy and for all the flowers that are blooming everywhere. Our lives are not without sorrows, and I have some to share with you. Bev and Bill Baker tell us that their daughter Leslie is continuing to improve and is entering rehabilitation following a cardiac arrest incident that she had. a sorrow, and a joy. We wish her continued recovery. Alan Atkinson is now at home after surgery for advanced bladder cancer. He is appreciative of all the cards that have been sent to him. He told me yesterday, I'm still really tired. I'm not ready for people to call me yet, but please tell them how much the cards have meant to us. Linda and Dick Miltner asked me to read this for you. Dick and Linda Miltner are mourning the sudden passing of their 37-year-old son, Tim, on August 16th. Tim grew up in First Church and was known and loved by many in the congregation. He will be missed by his parents, his sister Katie, and brother-in-law Scott, and young nieces Caroline and Louisa. Tim will live on in the corneas and tissue he donated to heal dozens of people in need. A joyous celebration of his life will take place sometime in the future. We drop a stone for Leslie, for Alan, and for Tim. This last one comes with a photograph. I got a message on Wednesday from Stephen Marks. Dear Reverend Connie, today we euthanized our dear dog Paloma. She was 16 and a half and suffering from kidney disease. Nurse Paloma, as we sometimes called her, took good care of us. She was faithful, steadfast, loving, and mischievous. Marin, Rye, Marlo, Amber, and I are so thankful that we got to spend time with her and will miss her. It hurts so much, and we don't know where to begin. Here is a stone for Nurse Paloma. We drop one more stone for those that each of us can name out loud or in our own hearts, for those that we don't even know. We drop this stone for them. This day, August 29th, is a day that marks the 15th anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana. And at this time, the state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast is preparing for the landfall of Hurricane Ida. This storm has already done damage through the Caribbean. Several people here in the congregation have friends in Cuba, which was also hit by the storm and is in harm's way. Hurricane Katrina marked a turning point, I think, for us as a nation. A time where the disasters that we saw on TV were not just somewhere else, but they were home. Those were our people, our siblings, who were left homeless and begging for help, begging for food, in need of some kind of assistance that they might start over again. Many of them haven't fully recovered, and here is yet another storm. Before I knew that Hurricane Ida was going to hit today, I'd planned to read the Prayer of Remembrance, which was written for Katrina and the federal flood's 10th anniversary. But I think today it's fitting that we do this and think of Ida as well. This is by Melanie Morell Ensminger. We ask for the presence of the Spirit of life and love as we come together in a spirit of prayer and remembrance on this 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina and the federal flood. We remember our old sense of invulnerability, how we used to think hurricanes always turn away, or hurricanes always lose strength as they come onto land, or the levees will hold, They always do. And we wonder, will we or our children ever feel so safe again? Will there ever come a time when we are over the nightmares or the overwhelming emotions evoked by the photographs? We remember our family members, friends, school chums, acquaintances, neighbors, members of religious communities, some of whom died directly or indirectly from the storm, and others who have had to choose to live away from the city because of jobs, housing, grief, trauma, and loss of community. We miss them, each and every one of them, each and every day. In everything we do in our lives, we remember them and hold them in our hearts. We remember the simple yet important landmarks of our lives, the fabric of neighborhoods, of homes, of schools, businesses, places of worship, restaurants, groceries, places intimate to us and those we only knew from driving by, washed away or demolished, irrevocably lost to the storm. That lost city of our memories and dreams will remain with us. We will forever be saying where this and that used to be. Let us work, pray, and strive to keep our city from losing any more dear and familiar landmarks. We remember all the people, former New Orleanians, folks who have always loved the city, and those who were strangers to us before Katrina, who have come again and again to support us, encourage us, help us in our renaissance. They have become honorary New Orleanians. To lift them, we lift up our grateful hearts and send undying thanks and love. As we remember and mourn our lost city, we strive not to be bitter when well-meaning strangers ask, "Isn't the city better now since Katrina?" No, it isn't. It's not stronger or cleaner or more organized or more of anything except richer and whiter and older. But we give thanks for who we are and what we still have. We make a sacred vow to protect what's left. When our hearts were broken and we were near despair, we remember what it took for us to come this far. The kindness of many, many strangers, courage, hard work, an abiding sense of humor, the many beloved celebrations of our culture and heritage, and most of all, faith. Help us keep the faith, O God. Remember us as we remember and remember. Let's pause now for a moment of silent meditation, reflection, and prayer. We have so much to hold, after which we will sing Spirit of Life. love's wings, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Every month, we here at the First Unitarian Church identify an organization or cause or program that is advancing social justice and working to end poverty, illiteracy, and hunger in our community. For the month of August, our Share the Plate beneficiary is working in neighborhoods. Since 1978, Working in Neighborhoods has developed sustainable communities by empowering Cincinnati neighbors to build equity for themselves and their families, and to develop win-win goals for their neighborhoods. WIN's strategy is organic, connecting shared neighborhood needs with broader economic resources. They support people of all faiths and all cultures in their pursuit of justice. WIN leverages partnerships with the banking community and local, state, and federal government resources to build support for home ownership, especially for African American families who face eviction or foreclosures. WIN builds neighborhood engagement through youth enrichment and summer camps, increasing access to healthy food, creating safe traffic patterns, internet access, and leveraging secure housing units for seniors and other low-income tenants. You can learn more about the work that WIN does at their website, wincincy.org. If you'd like to support their work, you can do so electronically or by check. You can text the word GIVE to 513-717-7373. You can, if you have access to our Breeze member system, click Give Now. If you are online and see our website, firstuu.com, you can click the Give button. For each of the electronic ways to donate, just follow the prompts and choose the August Share the Plate. You may also mail a check to 536 Linton Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219, and be sure to write WIN in the memo line. If this is your first time visiting us, we invite you to let the virtual plate pass you by. Our offering will be gratefully received. This COVID thing has been going on for quite a while. And from day one, we've all been trying to figure out what to do about it. The first decision that we made here at First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati was that we had to close our doors. And so we did. On March 11th, 2020, the staff walked out the building, out the front door, and we weren't sure when we'd be officially reopened. And it's been a long process as we tried to figure out when we would do that. So what we've done is asked our community, when you're ready to come back. And we've done this through a series of surveys. And I decided that today I wanted to share with you and share with anyone watching what the results were of our survey. Because I know there are other churches wondering, when can we come back? What do people think? So we'll share what our community thinks. Our reopening survey for August 2021 was sent to 242 people. 152 of those survey requests were opened, 92 responded, which is a 38% response rate. We asked 3 demographic questions, and you could answer to as many as were applicable. So of 92 respondents, 56 said, I am over 65. 3 considered themselves part of a COVID vulnerable population. 7 who replied have children in their household enrolled in religious education here at the church. We next asked about vaccination status. Are you vaccinated? 90 said yes. 1 said no. 1 left it blank. Is anyone in your house unvaccinated? 9 people said yes. 82 said no. And another was blank. I think that blank was 1 person who was having technical issues. Do you plan to get a booster shot when one becomes available? Yes, 75. No, 2. 14 people don't know, and 1 blank. We asked how you are participating in worship during this time. 20 of the 92 said they are not participating at all. 5 have been trying to RSVP and come in person. 45 actually watch our live stream at 10 a.m. on Sundays. 19 watch it on YouTube, but at a time that's more convenient. And 3 left it blank. Are you planning to RSVP to attend a service during the month of September? 32 said yes. 26 said no. 33 don't know. And 1 blank. Should we continue to require RSVPs and with that social distancing in the sanctuary for service attendance? 58 said yes. 9 said no. I don't know was 24 and 1 blank. We asked how comfortable you would be and what your experience is with unvaccinated folks. Do you think we should require proof of vaccination for participation? 51 of you said yes. 21 said no. 19 didn't know, and 1 was blank. Should we restrict those who are unvaccinated from attending services? 49 said yes. 15 said no. I don't knows were 27 and 1 blank. Interestingly, would you feel comfortable attending service with unvaccinated people? Yes was only 19. No was 59. 11 didn't know, and 3 left it blank. We have a coffee hour that we offer on Zoom after the service as an opportunity for people to just chat and connect. Do you attend Zoom coffee hour after the service? 18 said yes or almost always. 56 said no or almost never. 17 never attend, and 1 left it blank. But should we continue to offer the Zoom coffee hour after the service, produced 33 yeses, 6 no's, 43 I don't know / maybes, and 10 blanks. When we are here in person in what I call BC times, before COVID, we'd offer refreshments and coffee and treats here in the building. Would you come to services if we didn't have in-person coffee hour afterwards? 60 said yes. 8 said no. 20 didn't know, and 4 were blank. Our COVID protocol that was put into place at the end of May allows for small groups like our meditation session and for committees to meet in person. So we asked, is your committee or small group meeting in person? Only 8 said yes, 73 said no, 11 left it blank. Would you like for your committee or small group to begin meeting in person? 16 said yes, 57 said no, 19 left it blank. Regarding children's programming, have your children participated in any in-person programming? 4 said yes, 63 said no, 24 left it blank. I know that number is a little skewed by some who don't have children, but I suspect they were answering that if they had children, they would not participate. Would you bring your children into the building for in-person programming? 13 said yes, 30 said no, 22 didn't know, and 26 left it blank. In addition to this, we allowed people to enter in free-form text to give us whatever other thoughts they had. And those thoughts ranged from, I'm tired of COVID. If the kids can go back to school, we need to be back in church, to it's not safe. We all need to stay home to do our part, and everywhere in between. So you may be asking, why is she sharing this with us now? Because I think it's important for everyone to hear these results. And for the sake of inclusion and accessibility for all, including those who may be visually impaired, I read the results. One thing that we've learned from COVID is that there are ways to be more accessible, and that's one of them. What this survey showed me is that we are still very much frightened. There's a lot to think about, a lot to consider with where we are right now. So let's take a moment and sing. Let's sing, When I Am Frightened. I passed out the sheets for you. The words will appear on the screen, but if you'd like to read along, you can. When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? I told you, I'm tired of the novel coronavirus 2019. Tired of severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. Tired of coronavirus 2019. Tired of COVID-19. By any name, I'm tired of it. All I want to know is, will it ever end? The first time around, back in March 2020, that seems like an eternity ago, most of us had never even heard the term COVID. We didn't know what it was, and there were 19 of these things. We didn't know what any of this was about. The spread was fast, but it was somewhere else. It wasn't here. And then it came to the United States. The death toll started rising here, especially in New York City, and then it fanned out across the rest of the country. We were scared. We were glued to our television sets every day at 2 o'clock for the latest from Dr. Amy Acton and Governor DeWine. We tuned in to former Governor Cuomo's news conferences. We watched the case counts increase around the globe. We stocked up on toilet paper and we bought all the Lysol there was in the United States. Store shelves were empty. I remember going to Kroger and the only vegetables I could get was 1 pack of Brussels sprouts and some broccoli cauliflower mix. We were all sent home from work or school. We bought masks. We made masks. We donated masks. We learned a new vocabulary that included phrases such as flattening the curve or personal protective equipment, which we would knowingly later start calling PPE. We grew out our hair, we baked, and we tried new recipes. Some of us cleaned out closets and organized files and caught up on all those books we wanted to read and movies that we wanted to see before the effects of isolation started to set in. Others went straight to the isolation phase. We began to feel the pressure of being at home. We were anxious to get outside. After all, summer was coming. Things started to improve. Summer came and some of the restrictions were lifted. Stores began to open and people ventured outside for walks and hikes and vacations. The fresh air did us good. We kind of bounced back emotionally and physically and in some cases economically. COVID wasn't completely over, but we could definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then, wait a minute, what's that you say, Dr. Fauci? It will be worse in the winter? And it was. Once the summer ended and we were back inside again, the numbers started to go back up. And we had all the heartache and all the pain and all the feels. All those feels that included the presidential election, the Capitol riot on January 6th, and the second impeachment of Donald Trump. But it was all okay because vaccines were coming. We got our shots and we just knew that everything was going to be great again and we could get back to normal. But it was not to be. Unfortunately, politics became even more prominent a factor in the equation. This virus is doing what viruses do. It's mutating. Layal Liverpool explained it this way in an article in The New Scientist. Viruses naturally mutate and change as they spread through populations. Most mutations to SARS-CoV-2 are harmless and have little impact, but new variants arise when some of the mutations result in the evolution of forms of the virus that have different properties to the original one. According to the World Health Organization, Variants of concern include the variants of the coronavirus that have been found to spread more quickly, cause more serious illness, or resist drugs or vaccines. Researchers have given these variants names from the Greek alphabet. This was intentional. So instead of degrading a group of people by calling it the India flu or the China flu or the English variant, we now have alpha, delta, beta, gamma, etc. There are 8 so far that are particularly worrisome. Delta is the most worrisome. It's more easily transmitted, way more contagious than previous variants, and it causes more severe illness than previous variants in those who are unvaccinated. Cases and deaths are rising again. The curve is going in the wrong direction. COVID-19 just won't go away. As of yesterday, there have been more than 216 million cases confirmed worldwide. Almost 5 million people have died around the globe. Here in the US, we've lost over 637,000 people. To put that in perspective, the population of Louisville is 633,045. The number of confirmed cases in the United States is 38,760,000. That's more than the combined populations of the 25 largest cities in the country. I would know the exact number, but it was too depressing to keep adding more cities to the list. So I stopped at 25. Businesses and sporting events, concert venues, and other places are starting to talk about closing again. Mask requirements are back. None of these things are news, though. Scientists told us it would be this way. Dr. Fauci said it would take a while to get through this, more than a year before things were really back to normal. History told us it would take a while. The largest pandemics in history, the influenza epidemic of 1918, didn't end until 1920. The one before that, in 1889, didn't end until late in 1890. The H2N2 virus started a pandemic in February of 1957 that killed almost 4 million people. It didn't end until late 1958. But we had a vaccine. We got vaccinated. We have modern medicine. We elected a new president. Things were turning around. We were so close to being free and happy again. Yet here we are. And somehow it feels harder this time than it did in March 2020 and July 2020 and January 2021. In the face of trauma and disaster, you see, we humans respond with generosity and kindness, as we saw with the outpouring of recognition and love for healthcare workers and grocery store clerks and first responders at the beginning of the pandemic. Then we moved into resilience. We figured out new ways to do things. We learned Zoom. We figured out online grocery shopping. We got creative. For many of us, though, our resilience is tapped out. We're tired, we're depressed, and we're grieving. According to a September 2020 article in the Journal of the American Medical Association, cases of diagnosed depression tripled in U.S. adults before and during COVID-19. A study by the C.S. Motts Children's Hospital found that 73% of parents noticed something that was very or somewhat negative in their children's interactive skills. Specifically, they reported increased anxiety, depression, sleep deficiency, withdrawal from family activity, and increased aggression. To be fair, there is contradictory research, such as that reported in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, that says that our collective psychological immune system is beginning to evolve, and that we're better able to handle things like anxiety and depression as the pandemic continues. I don't know. It feels really hard to me. And I hear from many of you that it's harder for you this time around too. And I'm here to tell you today that you are not alone. This is really, really hard. It sucks. It sucks not being able to do what we want, when we want, where we want, and the way we want it. I appreciate the creativity I've seen in virtual planning and in efforts for us to gather. But I miss being together with you all. And as someone whose family was touched directly by COVID, I miss those who died. It's hard. I miss my brother-in-law. I miss my friends. There's been too much loss. I miss traveling. I miss big family gatherings. It's hard. So what do? Well, the World Health Organization in Europe has adopted a 4-stage approach for coping with this new mutant variant of COVID fatigue that I think could perhaps be helpful for all of us. So I'm going to share this with you. First, understand the situation. For the WHO, this means studying the evidence, knowing the facts, and creating policies and educational programming that fits the situation as it exists today. We as individuals and as a community can do the same thing. Learn the facts, understand the risks, get educated, and stay informed. Knowledge is key. Second, the WHO seeks to engage citizens as part of the solution. Talk to your friends and your family members. What can you all do to help one another get through this? That's why we do those reopening surveys. We want to hear your thoughts as members of the First Church community. Your input is important as we seek solutions on ways we can be together and help one another through these tough times. Third, help citizens reduce risks while doing what makes them happy. WHO Europe recognized that while it needs to slow the spread of the virus, it can't shut everything down again without creating negative and emotional and psychological impacts on folks. So we have to find that balance between maintaining quality of life and keeping ourselves and each other safe. Finally, they recognize the importance of acknowledging and addressing the hardship and impact COVID has had on folks. I've said it before. Many of us have experienced losses. Loss of activities, loss of interactions, and even the loss of those we love. The social isolation, the grief, the uncertainty, the economic and physical impacts of COVID are real. We can't pretend otherwise. They're real and they hurt and they're scary. And we can get through this. We will forever be changed by this experience, and we will get through it. Way back in March 2020, during one of our first Zoom worship services, I shared with you a series of pieces from this book. It's called Alone Together: Love, Grief, and Comfort in the Time of COVID-19, edited by Jennifer Haupt, daughter of our members Joy and Bud Haupt. I want to end today with another piece from that collection. It's from the last chapter of the book that's called And Don't You Stop, and Do Not Stop. And it's entitled Glitter Road, written by January Gill O'Neill, a writer and associate professor at Salem State University. I'll take my miracles however they appear these days. A salamander poking its head above the bricks, the shocking blue overcoat of the season's first bluebird, a spider web unbroken. At the corner of Molly Bar and McElroy, I think I saw a trail of glitter in the curve of the right turn lane. Fuchsia, heavy shimmer refracting the noonday sun as if laying flat a rainbow's extracted hue, not paint or blood or a parade shedding its cheer. It's the faded streak of eyeshadow as it trails into flecks and then disappears. I think of cars passing through this moment, their undercarriages aglow with possibility. Hard not to feel good riding a glistening wave, my tires now bespeckled with a purple sheen. A purple sheen that's tough to rid or wash away, the road ahead made beautiful by this temporary shine. Do not stop, my friends. We will get through this. Until then, let's take our miracles however they appear. Amen. And let's send ourselves off by singing together, Go Lift It Up. Let us now extinguish our chalice by reading together the words that appear on the screen. Together we say, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Do not stop, my friends. We will get through this. Until then, take your miracles wherever they appear. Go in peace. Now, to share some announcements. COVID updates. Next week on September 5th, there will not be a service in the sanctuary. It will be a fully recorded service. For the remaining Sundays in September, the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th, RSVPs will continue to be required. You'll need to wear a face mask while you're in here, but our services will still be available on YouTube for viewing at 10 a.m. or at any other time that's convenient. Because we want to make this as normal as possible for you, we will be bringing back childcare on September 12th through November 28th, and it will happen outside for children 3 and up Please come dressed for the weather. And of course, if the weather doesn't permit one day, we won't have that. We're offering a new lifespan faith development called Reconnect with Community, with Yourself, and with Love. It will either be in person or online and will begin September 12th and run through November. Please look at our website or our discussion bulletin board for more announcements of things happening in the First Church community.